So yesterday, Aaron Rodgers was on a radio show, and he was just sort of laughing at anybody that doubts Brady. And, he was just saying, we just keep waiting for it to end. And he said, it's just ridiculous. People don't understand this. In my lifetime, we've always considered the most dominant team sport athletes to be Wayne Gretzky in hockey and Michael Jordan in basketball. It's not close anymore. Brady has lapped Gretzky, and he's lapped Michael Jordan. I want you to think about this. Wayne Gretzky literally has more assists than the second all-time scorer has points. That doesn't even count Gretzky's goals. But Gretzky, his last 12 years, he never won. And by the way, he never won without Mark Messier. Think about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan never won without Scottie Pippen. Brady doesn't have that. Belichick, he was fired in Cleveland and 5-11 in New England with Drew Bledsoe. The gap between Brady and even Michael Jordan and even Wayne Gretzky is now laughable. Well, think about Brady. Brady has 6 Super Bowl rings. No other player in football has that. Michael Jordan's got 6 rings. Bill Russell's got 11. Robert Ory's got 7. There's multiple Celtics that have more than Brady. Tom Brady is going to break every playoff record. Michael Jordan doesn't own every playoff record. Tom Brady is going to break every statistical quarterback record. LeBron crushes Michael Jordan in statistical records. He'll beat him in virtually everything, including eventually probably points. I mean, we know assists, rebounds, final appearances. You got to remember, Brady's done it with a collection of mostly anonymous offensive linemen, not star running backs, 4 offensive coordinators, and outside of Randy Moss for 2 hours, mostly 72 different guys have caught touchdown passes. Magic had Kareem. Gretzky had Messier. Jordan had Pippen. Tom doesn't have any one guy. He can make claims that, I want you to think about this for a second. If you take Tom Brady's career and you cut it in half, I want you to cut Brady's career in half. His first 10 years, 3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, a regular season MVP, and won over 76% of his games. That is an argument for the greatest quarterback ever. His second 10 years are better than that. 3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, regular season, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 1 regular season, 2 MVPs. He's basically doubled everything against Super Bowl wins. And then he won 79% of his games. You can make an argument that Brady's last 10 years are the greatest quarterback ever. Montana would be the only one you'd argue with him. You can argue that his first 10 years, he's the first or second greatest quarterback ever, only surpassed by himself and Joe Montana. If you take away Michael Jordan's, one of his 3 title runs, remember he got 3 titles, played baseball, came back. He's not even in the discussion. Magic got the 9 finals, won 5. Russell won 11. We're not talking about Michael Jordan winning 3. You cut Jordan's career in half. He's not in the discussion. Tom has 2 careers that are arguably better than any quarterback. And the only quarterback that would be in the argument with him is Joe Montana. 4 Super Bowls, 4 MVPs. Like, it's not close anymore. Gretzky had Messier. Jordan had Pippen. Brady doesn't have that. Brady's got the most Super Bowl rings in his sport. Jordan's not close. Bill Russell's got almost double. Brady will win the statistical arguments, the playoff statistical arguments. His career cut in half is greater than anybody's. Like, it's not close anymore. Like, you sound silly arguing Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Dan Marino, John Elway. It's like, stop. Like, that's like you've had too many Heinekens. Like, stop arguing that at a sports bar. Go home. Call Uber. Like, get out of here. You're making up stuff. Like, so when I look at the whole Brady thing and Aaron Rodgers and I was sitting there thinking this morning, I'm watching him first 2 weeks and I'm like, is he close to retirement? If you didn't know what he was, there's a guy on Broadway named Norman Lear. He's 97 years old. He just signed a 3-year contract. He's going to work to be 100. He just won another award on Broadway. And they asked him about his age, and he goes, I don't really think about it. With Brady's age, we all think about it. If you didn't know Brady's age and you just watched him, you'd be like, oh, he's like 32. He's not 42. Watch him play. He doesn't look close to it. So all these dominant numbers, minimum 2 more years of him? Like, he is the greatest American team athlete, and Gretzky and MJ, to me, are no longer close. Even Aaron Rodgers admits it. We're looking for outs. We're looking for reasons. We're looking for the hammer. It's not close. It's not even close. I don't like their offensive line. I said that all summer, and I have no idea if Freddie Kitchens can coach or is completely over his head. And I think those are the 2 big issues. There's another issue I said, but I didn't think it would rear its head in week 1. The third issue I said was there's a lot of mouths to feed here. What happens when Jarvis Landry gets ignored for 3 weeks? What happens when OBJ doesn't get fed the rock? But I thought the first 2 issues, offensive line and Freddie Kitchens, how good is he? You'd see early, and we have. The third issue I thought would develop by Thanksgiving. OBJ's not getting the ball. David Njoku feels ignored at tight end, and he's really good. That actually reared its head in week 1, which is why I said a couple days ago, this thing could unravel here in about 4 weeks. I want you to think about Monday night. Freddie Kitchens acknowledged, and this was all over Twitter during the game, like Twitter guy could figure this out. Freddie Kitchens couldn't, and acknowledged it this week. Why was Baker passing with 2 minutes left in the game? He got hurt against Tennessee, and he was getting whacked by the Jets. You had a double-digit lead in the entire second half. Njoku had a concussion. Baker got hurt last week. OBJ was cramping. Get out of town. The Jets were on their 3rd quarterback. They were no longer a threat in the last 15 minutes of the game. What were you doing? Like, I knew their offensive line wasn't good. And I had questions about Freddie Kitchens. But the feeding the mouth thing, like feeding the players. You know what I think happened to Freddie Kitchens in week 1? He wanted to get OBJ the ball because he's in New York. And then he wanted to get Jarvis Landry touches because he didn't get a lot of touches early. And they struggled with the keeping everybody happy. That's with OBJ cramping. That's with Njoku out. Nick Chubb only had the Cleveland offense with a double-digit lead the entire second half. They had 21 carries, rushing carries. That's it. Jets had more rushing yards. Freddie Kitchens yesterday admitted it. Like, what are you doing with Baker Mayfield? He's a 2-time walk-on. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's running around getting popped. I think Monday was a rare NFL game. You get about 5 of these a year. You got one with Baltimore and Miami first week. If you watch the Monday Night Football game, after 2 series, you had a sense that, the Jets are not going to score tonight. They're just not going to score. They've got 7 starters out. They're on their backup quarterback. Then the backup quarterback got hurt. You're on your 3rd quarterback. You kind of knew this is not going to be a competitive game. When you're on the road and you have a bad O-line and a prized second-year quarterback, a lot of times you take a lead. You just want to get out of town healthy. Njoku had a concussion. OBJ's cramping. Baker was hurt last week. Twitter could figure this out. Like, people on Twitter were like, why is Baker in the game? Why is Baker throwing? So the 3 issues for Cleveland, bad O-line and Freddie Kitchens, I thought we'd see immediately. We have. The 3rd issue with Cleveland I thought would take till Thanksgiving, which is a lot of people to keep happy. I think Freddie Kitchens was trying to keep his receivers happy, didn't give it to Nick Chubb, didn't run the football, and now acknowledges, what was I doing? If fans on Twitter can figure out stuff, NFL coaches that plan on or try to beat Belichick and Andy Reid have to figure it out before us. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.